A very well welcome to Andrew Willis, a Manchester Storm fan who has joined me today to preview Sunday's game against the Storm in the Storm shelter. How are you doing, Andrew, today? All right?
Yeah, very well, mate. Thanks. Yourself?
I'm all right. Looking forward to the big game tonight. We're recording this on Saturday morning, so the Clan will face their homecoming game tonight against the Blaze. And I believe, Andrew, you guys are travelling through to Dundee.
Yes, we are. Yeah, we're up at Dundee tonight.
Nice one. Well, good luck with that one. But we're here to really talk about the game tomorrow. But before we start that, tell us a wee bit about yourself, Andrew.
Yeah, so I've been following ice hockey now for 20 plus years. I was originally just a little youngster when I used to go and watch Storm at the MEN. And then obviously when they folded, I was watching the Phoenix for a couple of years. Sort of fell away for a few years until probably about 3 or 4 years into Phoenix being up at Alty. And then started to watch them again. And then literally as soon as I heard Storm had reformed, we were straight back down watching pretty much every week, go to as many away games as we can. So I'd like to say I'm pretty I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan as such, but yeah, I'm a pretty big fan. I think I know my ice hockey very well. So
Nice.
Yeah, so it's one of them.
Right, so moving on to Manchester Storm. Ryan Finnerty, in my opinion, the best Clan coach so far. And obviously taking over you guys, GM down there, coach. Having a close look at the Storm's recruitment this season. What's your views around the recruitment? Generally, Finner brings in some really good players, really moulded and built for that rink down there. How have you found the recruitment's gone this season for the Storm?
So when he started recruiting, I'd noticed we were sort of building defence to attack as such. He sort of seemed to get a real solid sort of D kind of players in there to then look to where he can build his attack from. And when I looked at the initial roster, I thought, yeah, you've got some good guys there. Good signing in Curtis Hamilton from Belfast, who, every time he played, he looked a solid player. Had been in the Elite League for a couple of years before he came to us. I like the signing of Liam Morgan, which unfortunately, he's now left. But I thought that was a nice little signing. So yeah, I thought the recruitment was actually really good when you see the reviews, you look on the Elite Prospects, etc., and you look at the resume for some of these guys, and you think, yeah, fair. I was quite sort of pleased. It was good to have Jinner back in there because that's maybe I'm being biased, but I think he's the best goalie in the league. So it was a shame that we couldn't get him for the Elite League series. I thought if we'd have had him or a stronger goalie than what we did, I thought we'd have probably won that. Liked the signing of Joe Hazeldine. I think he's a great prospect. Yeah, all in all, I was fairly happy, to be fair.
I mean, it's been a mixed start to the season for the Storm. You look at the league there, your home record is very strong. I think you've got 11 points in 12 games from looking at the league table this morning. And all of that, you've picked up 10 of these points at home and only one on the road. Any reason for that? I mean, what would you say the strengths have been of the team this season, and any reason for that kind of form?
I just think when we had that, I think we had three home games in 1 week. I think we picked up maybe, if not maximum points, I think we won 2, lost 1. And I think we had a good weekend previous as well. I just think we seemed to hit a good bit of form when the league started. And I think obviously it was a couple of, because there's been quite a lot of changes throughout every team, aren't they, really, this year? You look at the teams, not very many have kept a lot of their players, like from the season where it was interrupted due to COVID. So I remember us playing Belfast a few weeks back and we won 3-0. And I just thought we were brilliant. Like, I don't think anyone would have beat us on that night. And I just thought, hold on, if this team can produce this week in, week out, I was I was sort of thinking, well, maybe we could get top 4, top 6. And then literally a week later, you see him at home against Guildford, which was unfortunately on Premier Sports TV. And we were just god awful. Like, couldn't string more than 2-3 passes together. So hockey's hockey, isn't it? You know, you get, I mean, I remember us beating Fife at the start of the season, 6-0, 7-0 at home, and went and lost 8-0 away the following night. Like, it's bizarre. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, how can the same set of players go and do that? But sometimes hockey's such a bizarre game. You get unfortunate bounces. But I just think when we play at home, I just think Finn has been in that rink for so long now. I think his coaching style just suits that rink really well. But I must admit, this year, I think we will do a lot better on the bigger ice, the arenas as such, because I think our team's a lot more mobile than what it had been the past few years. I don't think we're I think we're still a very, very hard-working, hard team to beat, but I wouldn't say we're a big, sort of heavy-hitting, kind of forechecking team that Finn has maybe built over the last couple of years. I think there's a lot more skilled guys in there. So I'm hoping we're a lot better on the road than what we've been the last couple of years, because I think that's where our biggest downfall is and has been, and why we've maybe not done as well in the league as what we possibly could have, is definitely our away form. But yeah, I think at home we're definitely a match for anyone. So yeah, I do have sort of semi-high hopes for the season as such. I mean, it didn't help with our Challenge Cup group. I mean, Sheffield, Nottingham, 2 big teams. So to play them quite early in the season, and as long for the amount of times we did, it was hard to get a good gauge of where we were at, because we literally, it was just them. Then we had Cardiff as well at the start. So, when you start playing the Dundees, the Fifes, I don't want to obviously disrespect them too much, but, it does sort of give you a bit of a better sort of scope on where you're at. So I think we'll do okay. I think as long as we stay injury free, and I think some guys step up a little bit more than what they are doing, I think we'll do okay this year.
Yeah, cool. I mean, certainly recruitment, there has been a couple of changes that Ryan's made recently. You brought in, obviously, Matt Ginn picked up an injury. I don't know how serious that is, or how serious it is. And you brought in a goaltender. I'm going to try and announce this, but it's probably completely wrong. Baka Shua.
I think that's right. Yeah. He looks classy. When he played on the Friday night game against Coventry, and he's got a very, I wouldn't say bizarre style of goaltending, but he stays very low. He's got a really good glove. But yeah, I was impressed. We seen him in the airport on the way back from Belfast last weekend. All the guys were sat having a Guinness or a pint in the bar as such after a well-earned weekend, and he was stood at the terminal screen with a juice, waiting to board the flight. He's in phenomenal shape. He's 39. He's maybe 40, something like that. He's in great shape, and I remember saying to him, I said, "Oh, you're not having a beer with all the guys?" He says, "No, it's not really my thing." I says, "Well, there you go then. That's probably why you played NHL."
Nah, definitely. No, as I say, the credentials look good, and obviously Ginn is a big miss. But if you can bring somebody in there, because it's such a crucial position, to have in this league, if you've got a top goaltender, it makes a big difference. You've made another 1 or 2 changes, haven't you already? What's your views on that?
Yeah, well, it's I like Thompson. I think he's a very good, hard-working, honest forward. I think it's Albrecht. I think is how you say his name. He's not really sort of. I've only seen him for a couple of games, so it's hard to get a gauge on him. I was a bit I was really gutted for Wade McLeod. You know, a really good story behind him. But I'm sure somebody said to me he signed in Norway now. So he's over there with his family. And I just think it's probably a better fit for him. You know, you would say the Elite League's a bit sort of, it's a lot. There's a lot of skill, but there's a lot of physicality in this league. Where I think if you go over to Europe in sort of the lower leagues, it's a bit more skill based. So I just think it suits him a lot better. I thought Morgan was going to be a really good signing for us, but it just didn't work out. Whether that was due to we had to make financial adjustments because we're on such a tight string, and obviously with Jin getting injured as well, he's had to make a couple of adjustments. But yeah, like I say, I mean the two new guys look okay. I'm happy with the British guys as well. I think some of them have stepped up really well. I'm also glad that Finn is giving them some much needed ice time. And I think as well, I mean, I think if Finn is putting these young kids out, I think that puts a bit of a message across to these import guys who are supposed to be the experienced guys. If your coach is putting young kids out who are, skating around, getting in deep for pucks, I think that makes them up their game, to be honest. I think it's been needed with a couple of them. I think you've seen, I've definitely seen over the last couple of weeks, a couple of the guys who were slacking have up their game because they weren't getting as much ice time. So yeah, I think Cash is a really good signing. So it'd be interesting to see what happens if Jin does become fit again, whether we can afford to keep them both. Highly doubt we can. And also then where does that leave James Downey, who I think is brilliant young goalie. So yeah, I'd love to have all three and rotate them nicely. So, but unfortunately it's very very rare to have three good goalies in your team. So but overall I'm quite happy with the new guys, yeah.
Good, mate. I want to move on to Linden Springer, because for me, Linden Springer at the Clan was probably our best D-man before obviously COVID came and closed down the league. I rated him very highly and I was disappointed when he retired. Obviously, he made a return and he returned to the Storm rather than the Clan, which was disappointing for us, but it looks like it's been a benefit to you guys. I think he sometimes gets a bit of undue criticism. Yeah, sometimes he can be a bit hot-headed, but he'll certainly stick up for his teammates. He is a really good hockey player, and with the Clan, when he actually kept his discipline at the Clan, he was he was our best D player. How have you found Linden Springer for the Storm this season?
Yeah, so I was disappointed when obviously we thought he'd signed another year, I think, or he was going into his another year, and then obviously he signed for you guys. So there was that kind of bitterness, what's to say, from a lot of fans. But I think the year he had under, I think Fitzy was in charge of you guys then, wasn't he?
Yes.
I think the year under that, I thought he brought him on a lot. His hockey IQ improved massively and definitely turned him into a better defender working under Fitzy. I was slightly gutted. I was slightly happy, when he decided to take on Gagnon at the Storm Shelter a couple of times. But I love Linden. Must admit, I think he's fantastic. Everyone wants a Linden Springer in their team. Everybody hates him when he's not on your team, but everyone would love him. I think he gets a lot of stick, like you were saying. I don't think he's a goon, like a lot of people say he is. I just think he plays physical, sort of nitty-gritty kind of D. Yeah. Sometimes he may overstep the mark, but then a lot of hockey players do. But because of his reputation, he gets a lot of stick. But yeah, I think when he cuts down his stupidness, like you were saying, and the dumb penalties, I think he's a great addition. I really do. Yeah. I love Linden. But yeah, I just think he's just an honest, get under your skin sort of defender. And there's nothing wrong with that. As long as he doesn't overstep the mark, there's nothing wrong with it. And yeah, occasionally he does, but most of the time he doesn't. So I don't see a problem, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of Clan fans will admit he was probably our best D-man, and we would have had him back in a heartbeat. Moving on to the game on Sunday down at the Storm Shelter. Do you know much about this Clan team at all? Do you know many players on the Clan roster?
Yeah, I mean, I was having a look at your roster actually before. Obviously, I know you've got Matthew Waugh still. He's back, obviously, very solid elite league player. Shame you guys thought, oh, I wish we'd have had him a couple of years ago. Obviously, he was a great player for Sheffield. I noticed you'd re-signed Laporte, is that how you say his name? Big, strong forward. I know you've got a couple of local Scottish guys in there as well, I believe.
Yes.
I like Jordan Braehead, if that's how you pronounce his surname. I think he's a good young forward. So I think once you maybe get 10, 15, 20 games under your belt, I think you'll see a completely different Clan team come January, February than what you will, I think, in November and December. So I think it would be harsh for anybody to look at the Clan in December, January and think, oh, the clan won't do well this year, or the Clan are finished, etc. Because, they're 2 months behind everyone effectively. I don't think there's any team, I would say, there's never an easy game in the Elite League. I think, you switch off, you get punished by anyone. That's whether you're Cardiff, Belfast, or whether you're Storm, Dundee, Clan. You have a night off, you will get punished in this league, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we're running, as you say, a bit behind. We missed out on the Challenge Cup. That was really just down to the arena issues, Andrew, and obviously that set us back. And probably the easy option for the Clan would have been to say, look, we're not going to play this season. We're going to sit it out. But credit to them, they've done everything to get the arena ready, secure that long-term lease. And when the easy option could have been just say, let's just try and get the lease sorted and take a year out, which personally I don't think would have been a good thing for the Clan or for ice hockey in the UK.
No.
What was your view around the Clan, and what's your view as a away fan coming to Braehead?
Yeah, so obviously I was very, very happy when for you guys when they said they were only just going to miss a couple of months. I think if you can get a team on the ice, whether it's 2 months later, I think 2 months later is better than them not being there at all. I absolutely love your rink. I think it's a great atmosphere on game nights. I love the way it's set up. You've obviously got sort of your 2 tiers, haven't you, of sort of seating. The guys who are in the far corner, your little drumming section, are really loud. Everybody gets involved. You've got a good view, I think, from everywhere in your rink. Yeah. I've been a couple of times. It'd be nice to have maybe some refreshments down at the away end, so you're not having to walk all the way back out.
Yeah, good point.
But yeah, I think it's brilliant. I think it's a brilliant setup. I'm really pleased for all you guys up there. You've got a great organisation, good fan base, obviously a good sort of area as such to gain more fans. Being now, obviously, what did you think of the rebrand from Braehead to Glasgow? Like, was you in favour of it? Was you kind of?
Yeah, I was in favour of it. I felt we needed to try and exploit a bigger area. People know Glasgow more than Braehead. Even the players know Glasgow more than Braehead. There was some rumours that players didn't know where Braehead was. But yeah, I think the rebrand was needed. I like the logo. I like what we're trying to do with that. I know other people don't agree with that and they would have preferred to stay at Braehead, but in any fan base you're going to get people who are for things and against things. But yeah, I like it. And I think we're securing that long-term lease, having the rebrand. I think we can start to push on from there. First game tonight against Coventry in the arena that we now have that long-term lease. And I think there's great potential if we can take the opportunities on it. But yeah, I was pretty happy with the rebrand, to be honest. I've been impressed with our new coach, Malcolm Cameron, who's came in. He's already made a change to the roster, bringing in a guy called Mitch Jones, a new D-man, and releasing one of our sort of uni guys, Medrick Mercier. So he's gone from D within 3 games. And Malcolm's brought in a player he seems to know well. So I'm excited that we've got a coach who's coming in and making changes, and hopefully they're for the benefit of the team going forward.
Yeah, it's always good in it to have a confident coach. I always think, you know, someone who isn't afraid to make changes, because I think that just shows, I think it shows more or less to the players that you don't want to be here, or you show me that you're slacking and you're going, pal. I want everybody here who's, you know, fully working for the badge and wanting to be in that shirt. So I have no issues with it. I think the league have changed. I think you can only make 5 changes now, is it, throughout the year? I think that's a good move, because otherwise I think that gives your bigger budgeted teams an advantage. You know, they can ship out 6-7 guys throughout the year and bring other guys in on, you know, big contracts as such, whereas obviously the smaller teams can't. So I think that definitely is a good move, and I think that also gives the Brits more time as well. I think it would give them more time on the ice, because, you know, if an import isn't performing very well and you don't want to make too many changes too early, then that obviously makes you rely on your Brit guys more, the young guys more. So I think it's a good move from the league, but also it will benefit British ice hockey as well. So
I definitely agree, mate. Just to finish off, what's your views about Sunday's game? Any predictions, or do you think it's too early to say? You guys have got a strong record at home, so I think it's going to be a tough game for the Clan.
Yeah.
You've got a tough game in Dundee tonight.
I mean, I've seen both ends of the scale from Storm this year at home. I've seen us be brilliant, where we beat Belfast 3-0. I thought we were fantastic, and I've seen us when we got beat off Guildford the other week on Premier Sports, where we were absolutely diabolical. So it just depends who turns up on the night. I think I do fancy us to pick up maximum points this weekend against Dundee and Clan, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we went away with no points.
Hard to say in this league, isn't it? Sometimes the best way of measuring what will happen the next day is what happens the day before. As you said earlier on, you win 7-0 one night, you get beat 7-0 or 8-0 the next. So exactly. I'm hoping for a big Storm win tonight, and then a Clan win tonight and a Storm defeat tomorrow. But may the best team win. I really appreciate you coming on, Andrew, and giving up your valuable time. And if you're up in Braehead later in the season, give us a shout.
Definitely, I will do. Thanks for having me.
Mate. Enjoy the weekend. Take care.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Too. See you later. Bye bye.
Bye bye, mate.